some basics with the single stick, and we're going to do the basics against our dummy. So, first basic, or first general rule, don't stick your weapon out where your opponent can grab it. So, you're going to keep the weapon either over your shoulder, which is my preferred position here, or you're going to keep it down here. This, I feel, is more of a hiding the weapon from your opponent so that you don't directly show you've got a weapon. But if we're talking about self-defense, have the weapon ready. Hopefully this already deters the attack, and that's a bonus. So we're going to have the short stick about a hand width from the bottom. You don't want to grab right at the bottom. Nice grip about 4 fingers away from the bottom of the stick. Place it over your shoulder, and the movement is going to be as follows. My left hand is out in front of me. I always assume that my opponent is rushing me. What a pleasure if my opponent is standing there and I can merely move forward and whack him against their head and the fight is over. But that would probably make me the bad guy. So, we're assuming my opponent is rushing me. I'm going to use my left side, my left hand, to either halt my opponent's progress towards me, use it as a shield, use it to deflect, use it to control my opponent. Because for him to get through to the weapon, he needs to get past my left arm. The basic is going to be a hip movement here, striking the leg, bouncing back, striking the head, and then be ready. Very, very simple basic. Hand in front. Main thing, keep your weapon away from your opponent. Let your opponent engage with the left arm. Strike the leg, strike the head, and come back. Please understand, for the fight, you can strike the head first. It doesn't matter. It's just a good basic to also teach you low and high attacks. Try and attack various angles. One more time, from here. 1, 2. And make sure you get the hip behind your movement. So from here, let's put the left hand against the bag, and we have some pressure here. So what we want to feel in this position is there's pressure against the left hand. My opponent's already engaged. So from here, use the hip. 1. Then release the hand. 2. Immediately bring the hand back. What a pleasure. If you can add a nice palm strike to that as well, by all means, add that to the combination. So from here, 1, 2, and ready. 1, 2, and ready. Right. So that's our first basic. Spend some time on that, then come back for the next one. Right. Let's look at our second basic. Our second basic is going to start with the bottom of the weapon. So this would be if my opponent has crowded me. My arm is already too bent. I don't have the space here to strike. So from this position, what we're going to do, we're going to use the butt of the weapon here, and we're going to hit to the face. Use our left hand to give us some space, and finish with a strike. So let's go again. We're a lot more crowded now. So from here, hit with the butt of the weapon. Strike to the side of the head, sinus cavities, neck, it doesn't really matter, but hit to the head with the butt of the weapon. 1, use the left hand to push yourself away from your opponent. You've got your space back. And we do it again. So from here, right hand hit, left hand palm, right hand hit, and we're ready again. You get crowded by the dummy. 1, 2, 1, 2. Do again. We get crowded. Butt of the weapon hit. Palm strike. 1, 2. Right, so that's our second basic. Spend some time on that. Then come back for the next one. Right, let's look at some attacks. So, when would you be attacking? When there's multiple opponents. When your weapon is drawing... Let's look at our third basic. So, this one is going to be focusing on attacking, on lunging forward and preemptively hitting your opponent. When do you do this? When your opponent is pulling a weapon, when your opponent is threatening one of your family members, when there are more than one assailant in front of you, and your best course of action is to eliminate one of those attackers so that you've got a better chance. Whatever the reason is, make sure you've got a good reason before using a weapon against someone. It can get you into a whole lot of trouble. So make sure you understand in what situation and why you are doing this. So, as an attack, that means I am the aggressor. At that point, I decide to launch the attack. My hand is out. My opponent has not rushed me, has not engaged me yet. But whatever the reason is, I decide to move forward. I'm going to take a step. I'm going to strike at the head. I'm going to cut through. Now, I say cut through. I'm not trying to push through with the wrist. I don't want to lose control over my weapon. So on impact, I bring it through. I immediately impact and then release. I don't need to be pushing against my opponent. My next movement is I'm going to bring it around, impact, and release. So make sure when you're hitting that you're not pressing unnecessarily into the bag or into your opponent. So let's go again. We move forward. 1, 2. 1, 2. We're ready again. Right. Spend some time on that, then come back for the next basic. For our fourth basic, we are going to move forward, and on impact here, instead of cutting through and then hitting or stabbing, we are going to bounce off the target and then hit the other side. So from this position here, I move forward, 1, bounce off, 2, and then I go back. I go forward, 1, 2, and back. Now, for yourself, maybe every now and then, change the angle as well. So we might move forward for our first strike, to the leg, then to the head, and back. So that's an option for you to vary the combination a little bit as you are training. It's good to imagine various targets that you're hitting. So from your shoulder, hand out, we move forward, 1, bounce over, 2, and we're ready. 1, 2. Okay, so again, spend some time on that. Get used to feeling how it recoils off, then hit the other side, and then come back. For our last basic, we're going to do a double strike to the same position, but we're going to add a little push to it. So, a nice way to look at this movement is that I might be hitting against my opponent's arm and then hitting at the side of the head. So I might be attacking one of the limbs here, pressing it out the way, and then attacking the face. Whatever the reason is, we can explore that later when we're working against a partner or when we're doing some self-defense movements at close quarters with the weapon. So from here, we're moving forward, 1, and then we're dropping the wrist, and the wrist points down with the thumb, comes through, and does another strike to the same side. So instead of from here maybe hitting on that side, drop the wrist and hit to the same side again. It's a very quick movement that you really need to think of as a deflecting movement and then a finishing strike. So let's go. From here we go 1, roll, 2. Imagine impacting the arm, pressing it out the way, hitting again. Last one. Okay. Again, spend time with that. maybe run through these basics again this week, and next week we'll build on this.